Real nitty-gritty. Boots on the ground. It's the real nitty-gritty. Boots on the ground. It's the real nitty-gritty. Boots on the ground. It's the real nitty-gritty. Boots on the ground.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. We've got the panel today. I've invited a few of other YouTubers to come on. I don't know if they're going to show up or not, but we've got a topic. What do expats spend their money on in the Philippines? But first, let me give a shout out to the NTZ crew. Jacob Tanjay, Michael Beach of Life. Thank y'all so much. Also, the ZPD Zone is here with Robert Dane. Any new viewers and subscribers watching for the first time, welcome. All the old heads, here they are. Michael Alexander, Sam McCall. I saw Jeffrey Tatter on here. Thank y'all so much for all y'all support over the years. And then anybody that's going to catch us on replay. The episode 54.81. It's 87 degrees here in San Carlos City at 9:31 a.m. 78% humidity. I know it's hot in America, but y'all gonna get a break. We don't get a break over here, Robert. I've got Harry Shoulders with us. You're dressed up today, Robert.
For your occasion, nothing's too good for you, Calvin.
Well, I appreciate that, man. What's the
temperature?
You know,
I missed you. Well, it's been 115 all week in Phoenix, but I missed your birthday bash. And wow, so I thought I'd just dress up tonight for you, though.
Oh, okay. W Secrets to Success Vlog said, "What's up, Cal? No shots today, so stay calm over there." What's up, man? A friend of mine, Rock Harmon, man, he sent me a link. Man, it was 2 people was killed in San Carlos City early in the week. I mean, right, not far from where I live. But, it's nothing to panic about because they, the perpetrator and the victim, they knew each other. One of them was over a card game, and then the other one, they don't know. The guy just showed up, and I think, they had a fight early in the day. So he shows up at the guy's job, and shoots him in the head. Well, so I'm not really concerned because, like I said, it's the same as what happens on the corner over there in Louisville, Kentucky. The victim and the perpetrator usually know each other. What's the crime been like in Arizona? Do you read the newspaper, Robert?
I think it's just you know what? They don't want copycat. So, they're not going to give you everything because then, especially suicide. We know that when they put that out there, they just get more of the same.
Yeah, that's a great point, Robert. And that's why a lot of people, they made it's an unspoken agreement between the police and the media. Don't report suicides.
Well, I know the real perspective because my father was the one they would call to go in and clean up. And so I can tell you it's an epidemic. It's more than you even can imagine.
Absolutely. I know that for a fact. Now here's a guy we've got.
It's more than you even can imagine.
Hey, John, I think you got. Are you watching YouTube? You can't watch YouTube at the same time.
It's gone.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome, John. He's the. What's the name of your channel, John?
I'm right below the other guest in Puerto Peñasco, Mexico, Sonora, Mexico. So it's Phoenix's, Arizona's beach.
Yeah, what's the name of your channel?
The name of my county or town?
Channel.
Oh, channel. Sorry. It's Crazy Old Gringo.
Okay, yeah, you're in Mexico, so you're right above the Arizona border, right?
I'm 1 hour south of the Arizona border, driving distance. So the border town there would be Lukeville, and the state is Sonora, Mexico. Everybody calls it down here Rocky Point. It's on the Sea of Cortez, and it's a tourist town, fishing town. I've been living down here for about 9 years.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it because the last time, man, people really enjoyed your commentary and you've got like a men going their own way attitude. There's a lot of them on here. Now, you're not to the extreme though. You're not to the point where you've written off women for good, have you?
No. I'm really keen on looking into myself to find out what it is about myself that I don't like and making those changes for myself. So I don't look to blame women or anybody really for any misfortunes in my life.
This is a good point, sir. What was your name, please?
John.
John, last time I stayed in Rocky Point, it was in a room with no windows, John.
Would that be a jail? I've been there. I've gotten a few people out. Yeah.
No,
next time you're down here, call me and I'll get you out.
Well, one time I slept in the laundry room with the dog.
Okay.
But your point, no, that's why we need to talk about these labels, John. This misogynist. The definition of a misogynist is someone who dislikes women.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody like that. Do you, John?
Well, yeah, no, there's plenty of them out there. And I think that those are men who have all sorts of issues and don't take any sort of accountability for their own lives and try to fix the things that are causing them problems so it doesn't keep happening over and over.
But it's someone who despises women. I don't know anybody that despises women.
Yeah, they exist, but I tend to keep people that have negative attitudes about things away from me. You can think what you want, do what you want, but I'm a Sigma man. I go my own way. I go my own way. I take my own counsel. I try not to provide counsel to other people. I do what I got to do. And I do a lot of introspection. If I don't like what's going on with me, I need to change it.
You say habla español.
Sober Sunsets, thanks for that super chat. He said, hey, everyone from Melbourne, Australia. My buddy was visited us from, I think he's from Brisbane, I want to say. Him and his wife, Mark and Julia, they took us out to dinner. I think they went back yesterday. Thanks, W Secrets of Success, for that super chat. He said, everything happens for a reason. That guy did something to make that man come to his job and shoot only him versus others. Was it a woman, money, drugs? Well, they had a fight early in the day. And so he ended up coming back to the man's job and gunning him down. He sent me the article because he was saying, hey, Cal, be careful. And I'm like, man, San Carlos City is safe as the Board of Health, John, over here. So I knew something was going on. It's not like some disgruntled softy is going around shooting people like they do over in America.
Yeah.
A Neo Ramratton says expats should spend their money on setting themselves up nicely, get into a healthy lifestyle. Then a woman will come along and fit into your life. Yeah, let's kind of talk about some stuff that people spend their money on. You've been an expat for how long, John?
Well, I've been down in Rocky Point for 9 years. I'm a world traveler. I was in the military for a while, and then I worked for the federal government for a while. So I'm pretty wise about other cultures and whatever. But what happens down in Rocky Point is that people will buy condos or homes or trailers, whatever, and they'll get set up for a weekend place to go. Weekend long weekends, a week or two, and that's what I did. I had a little place I can go to, and when it was getting close to, I was working more and more in Mexico. If you don't remember, I'm a I'm a retired private investigator, and it took me all over the place, and a lot in Mexico. So I kind of set up Rocky Point as my base, if you will, because I had dogs, and I wanted them safe, and we had a guy here that took care of everything. So they were safe here, and eventually I decided, you know what, this is crazy. I don't need to have two homes. I don't need all this stuff. I was keenly interested in sustainability. I was interested in tiny home living. I was keenly interested not throwing money at all the things that I thought might make me happy, and really did. All they did was increase my dopamine level whenever I saw something I wanted and had to buy, and it was gone in no time. So the long answer I just gave you to the short question is 9 years.
Yeah, let me ask y'all, can we keep our answers brief, simply because we've got a lot of people over here, and it keeps the conversation flowing.
Sure. Sorry.
No, that's okay. But so you're saying that what you see in expats spend their money on is their accommodations. Is that what you think is the number one?
Here, they would be spending, the tourists are going to come down here and spend their money on, yes, accommodations. They're going to be spending their money on alcohol, on food. The prices are geared towards tourism, so you're paying American prices unless you know what to do. The people that live here have a different type of lifestyle. So, we're not throwing our money in the same direction as the tourists do.
Yeah. Now, he says, John, have you heard the rumor that the peso is headed for 12 to $1 US? But before you answer that, what is the peso to the dollar right now?
It's like 16.5. At the height when I've been here, it was close to 22, and it keeps getting brutal. The good news is most of my money is spent on U.S. goods, so that doesn't change so much. But it hurts when you have to go to the grocery store or Sam's Club or whatever.
Yeah. I'm gonna see over here in the Philippines. Obviously, it's different than in Mexico. Here's what I see expats spending their money on, and then this is just the top 5. The woman is number 1 over here. We spend more money on the woman than anything else.
Yeah,
doesn't come close.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's food. Either you're going to the grocery store or you're eating out. A lot of guys eat out a lot here. They don't cook their own food. Rent and utilities is 3rd. Entertainment and travel, because it's a lot of islands. People go from island to island, a lot of different beaches and things. And number 5 is the trick bill, like you were talking about: drinking, smoking, skirt chasing, gambling. Okay, that's my 5 in order. But the woman is number 1. If you can cut your costs dealing with your woman, you got a chance of making it over here. But that's a big stumbling block for a lot of us. Robert, what do you spend your money on over there in America?
Well, let's get back. My experience in Mexico, living in Mexico, I would try to go to Banamex because they would let me cash my entire Social Security check at one time, and then I had just one stop, and that saved my expense of continuing. And then I would use my debit card for purchases at OXXO or wherever, like a 7-Eleven there. But to save money, you got to save on those transfer fees.
I've got transportation. I've got transportation down here.
I would say here the biggest expense is food and supplements, because your food is your medicine, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The Beach of Life says the trick bill be weighing some dudes' pockets down. Yeah, I know. Especially if you live in places like Manila, Inglewood City, Cebu. They're hanging out in Mango Square and all those places, and it's not free to get in those places, John, to look at them nice looking women.
Yeah.
It costs. But the lady laying next to you is going to cost you more than anything else while you're over here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Because I just did a video on my small house, and when you talk to real expats like you, John, you understand what a good investment that is, whether I can own the land or not, because you certainly don't own the land that your fifth wheeler is on in Mexico, do you?
No, I do not.
Yeah, but these are guys who never go anywhere. They sit on the couch and they got all the answers. That's how you can't own the land over there. What do you really technically own the land anywhere? And I know what they're saying. Everything's about an investment when they come overseas, but you're not even investing at home. So I don't get it. That fact that you could build a house like I did right there anywhere in the Philippines, right? And then your rent is done. You getting rid of your rent forever. Okay, so if it doesn't work out, you have to leave. You're 5,000 in the hole. If you stay here a year, just a regular accommodations, you're gonna spend more than $5,000 on rent and utilities. So that's my argument for anybody that says, "Oh, you don't own the land," and "Oh, well, I don't want that commitment." Most people end up staying. John, you've been there 9 years, right?
Yes.
But they're always talking about, "Oh, well, just in case I have to pack up and leave."
Well, I don't know that it was my original plan to stay here. Coronavirus hit, so clearly we were locked down, and I mean locked down. There were police at the borders to keep you from going in and out of town, so you had to find a way to entertain yourself. But I got to tell you, the owning land here in Mexico for an American can be a bit challenging. It has to be set up in a trust. So as an American, you're not going to own it anyway. The trust is going to own it. With that said, though, there are more than a few horror stories about people that have come down here and tried to purchase or invest in condos, homes, property. Some have done it successfully, but others have turned out to be a monstrous waste of money. It got taken from them. It's a corrupt system down here, can be very corrupt. And so, my last home was up in Chandler, Arizona. I sold it in 2010, maybe. And about the last thing in the world I want to do is get involved in a mortgage. I don't want it. I don't care where I'm at. I'm not going to do it.
Absolutely. Now, how often do you cross the border, John? Because he's saying that an increasing number of expats and part-timers working in San Diego, but renting in Baja makes for a great lifestyle, but crossing their border any time of day is pure hell.
Well, it's a little bit different in Baja, Tijuana, than it is here in Puerto Penasco. Going back and forth here is super easy. You just cross the border both ways, just cross the border. But in Tijuana, it is a huge border. You can get pre-approved through the Customs and Border Patrol, with your passport, and you can get in the fast lane. And that's what those people do, is they get the sticker on their car, and then they're able to go into the fast lane, and they get across. They go back and forth every single day to work, and then they're back home at night. The tourists have to get in a completely different lane. It could take them hours to get back into the United States. So it's a big different dynamic between here and there.
Yeah. Now, Robert, what's the saying you got for us right now that relates to what we're talking about?
Well, oh my goodness. Money.
Did you give a shout out to the kosher clinician?
I got it. I got it. Well, I got the Kosher Connection. Everybody's seen it. I think we saw him at the Marvin Gaye Grammys, right? In the crowd, 1983.
Yeah, the kosher clinician. He's a cool guy. Okay, JM says, I think most expats in the Philippines spend their money there in getting fat every day, bro. Well, I don't know. I don't see a lot of fat guys or what we call fat in America over here. Remember, you got the Fountain of Youth over here, John. I don't know about in Mexico. You got the sunshine, the beautiful women. You're going to get active because you're going to do more walking over here in the Philippines. And then you tweak your diet because all your comfort foods aren't here anymore. So next thing you know, you look around and you've lost 10, 15 pounds. You're feeling a lot younger, being with that younger lady. And it's the Fountain of Youth. So I really don't see a lot of overweight guys over here.
Well, in terms of expats, I don't notice that so much either, but I will tell you that Mexicans are predisposed towards diabetes, and they've got two things down here that are just killers: tortillas and Coca-Cola. They're addicted to Coca-Cola. There's a couple big YouTube videos out there, and it's made with real sugar, not corn syrup. And they drink and drink and drink, and there's a lot of overweight ladies, lots and lots of them, because that's the staple diet: tortillas and Coca-Cola.
Absolutely.
And Paleta.
Same thing's happening over here. He said, you got a nice shirt on, Robert, but with that tie and that shirt, you're giving me vertigo. I've got vertigo over here.
Yeah.
I'm expecting to hear that Twilight Zone theme song at any moment.
What about the hat, man? I missed the hat. The Kosher Connection.
Yeah, it's a nice looking hat. What is that? A Kango, right, Robert?
I gave my cane to my neighbor.
Now,
Learned how to walk again.
Brandon McLean, he says most of our money is spent on the women. She definitely is our biggest expense in the Philippines. Absolutely. If you can get a hold on that, you're going to be better off because, man, I don't know what it is. We spend so much money over on women, John. I don't know if we're trying to press them up.
I can tell you what it is, and it'll be another show for you. And you hit on it a lot, but it's about validation. It's about old guys, depending on whatever range you want, who have somehow lost their way into feeling important, feeling validated. Maybe their kids don't talk to them anymore. They don't have a job that they can relate to. And so what they wind up doing is going to a source that's going to provide them. It's like petting a dog. You know, you make eye contact with your dog, you pet it, it starts wagging your tail. It's because it produces oxytocin. And that's why men of a certain age, they gravitate towards these young ladies who need them, and they're getting their validation that way. But I look at it purely as it's a dependent, codependent relationship. It's not something it's not for me. If it works for you, that's cool. Doesn't work for me.
You said a lot, John. I got to tip my hat to you because I think that's what's going on. I could never figure it out until what you said, but I guess it is validation. And like you said, it's a codependent relationship. And some people, it works for some people, and some people, they just can't get past that, oh, she doesn't really love me stuff. But I can, because I don't give a damn if she loves me or not. If I'm getting out of the relationship what I want and she's getting out of what she wants, is it a fair exchange? No, but I'm saying if she's getting what she wants, I get what she wants. What's love got to do with it?
Well, in reality, nothing. That's just a hormonal surge also. You know, people want to think it's a magical thing, but it's not. It's a confluence of hormones that we call love, and if you don't get a hold of it, it's going to take in in bad directions. And I'm going to point out to you that I've noticed that a lot of older people don't even know what it's like to be single. Maybe they were with for somebody for so long, or a lot of somebodies. You know, they go from one relationship to another relationship to another relationship. They have absolutely no idea how to be single. And so they're on to the next one. And that's when I said, you know, you have to be introspective and look at yourself and find out, what is it I'm doing wrong, man?
Yeah. Are you on the rebound?
We think that somehow she loves you. It justifies you spending all that money. It doesn't matter. You're wasting a lot of money over here on these women when you certainly don't have to. But that's our justification, John and Robert. Oh, she loves me. It's real love. It's a real relationship.
But if you want to save some real money, you want some free money, stop rejecting red flags. Stop.
Well,
You'll save some money.
They're covered with red flags over here.
Yeah. Well, I call it have you ever watched, either of you two gentlemen ever watched Kung Fu movies? You know, the old stuff, man, the great stuff from the 60s and 70s. You know, and my Kung Fu is better than your Kung Fu. I call it my no Kung Fu. I practice it every day. I'm not perfect at it, but my no Kung Fu is being able to say, oh, your mother's sick and you need money for the hospital? No. No. Yeah, it's my no Kung Fu, man. My no Kung Fu. And I have to practice it all the time. Some guys can't, but I think I got my head screwed on right, that I'm not going to let. That's
too good. That's too good. That deserves a sign. That deserves a sign.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But like you said, some guys just haven't been single forever, especially the older people.
Yeah.
And I think they feel deserted over there.
Well, sure.
Neglected.
You're sure. I mean,
the woman shows them some attention, and it's like there's nothing I will do for that.
You know, when you're old, AARP and several other organizations have figured out that loneliness is dangerous. It's an epidemic in older folks. It can have some health problems for people, and I think that there's a lot of folks that are in the same set of circumstances that they just don't have the connections that they used to. And so any kind of connection that they can get, it's going to start sending signals to the brain.
No Kung Fu.
No Kung Fu, brother. I saw the sign. So listen, I want to tell you something briefly, that I had a money moment today. You asked how we spend our money. I've got a Mexican car down here, and I spend $100 a year for car insurance, but it needed a new air compressor on it, AC compressor, 1,100 pesos. It's about $60 to put on an air compressor to a car. That's where I spend my money.
Yeah, I've got transportation on here. But let me answer this question, because this is a real easy one. He says, what red flags are warnings for the single man versus the part-time relationship guy? The fact that a young, attractive woman is interested in you. That's the biggest red flag.
Yeah.
They're not interested. Young, attractive women are not interested in you anywhere else in the world.
No.
But here,
yes.
That's the red flag, guys. If you don't hear nothing else I say today, that's real easy. Okay? That's the red flag.
Yeah.
And then figure out if you're a Joe or a John. Are you a Joe or a John? Figure that one out.
Why is she interested in me? Okay, that's what you should be asking yourself when they're not interested in me anywhere else. But here.
I think a good question that I've asked my clients in the past when they're getting scammed by online scammers, I look at and I say, I see a 65-year-old woman who hasn't seen her prime, if ever, but at least 30 years. And I look at these people and I say, what makes you lovable? What is it that you see about yourself that no one else sees? And that's a hard blow, man. That's a real hard blow. I think over in the Philippines, it's real possible. Yeah, they say that there's not an age issue, but I think that they would much. I think they want the paradigm to change a great deal, where they could marry someone of their same culture who has a job, who can support them. It's just not there, and so we become, with our $1,800 a month, pretty viable. But it doesn't make me prettier.
It's called denial. We're in denial. So that's why you see all these age gap videos, because we're trying to reassure each other that it doesn't matter, when in fact it does matter. Really, on the surface it doesn't, but when you shut that door behind closed doors, it matters, man. You're not going to have a whole lot in common with a woman 40 years younger than you. What are you going to talk about? Nothing.
Well, you and I talked about this last time. What do you got? What do you got in common? And if you want to break it down, for me, it's sex, sandwich, and silence. Sex, sandwich, and silence. That's how basic it gets for me.
Well, I think that's what most men, and I think that's why we can deal with it, because we're so easy to maintain. It's not hard,
No.
That's what it's just not that hard to do. Jacob Tajay says it's all about that dollar eagle. It is, but for some reason we try to convince ourselves. That's why I get my pushback. Oh, it's not like that for me. My woman really loves me, and bullshit, man. Woman don't want. If she had a young, attractive Filipino man over here who could do the same thing you can for her, she's going to choose him 100 times out of 100 times. I'm sorry.
You're right. Do you remember the young couple that you had on our last video? And I asked them, do people of higher education, do they tend to date each other? Do they stay within that socioeconomic environment? And her answer was, yes, they do. They've got the money and the education and the culture, then they want to stay together. The unfortunate ones that don't have that have to find something else. And we gentlemen who don't have our validation or no kung fu in place, or think that somebody actually likes me because I'm a pretty friendly guy, I'm a nice guy. It's nonsense.
Yes, he's going to love you back to life.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing that I see over here. Filipinos are no different than anybody else. This is the same way it is in Mexico and America and everywhere else. We tend to date, we stay in our lane. Basically.
What's it called, Calvin? It's called hypergamy.
Is that what it's called?
It's called hypergamy. It's a psychological. It's real science, and it basically says that women will date along a level plane or up. They are always looking for an upward path to their mate, whereas men will either go sideways or down. They will date in a lower socioeconomic class than themselves. It's called hypergamy. I would suggest that everybody look that term up and study it a little bit. You might understand why it is that you're in the situation that you're in.
Yeah, now he said you must be talking about the grandpas of Dumageddon. No, this is every relationship over
everywhere.
Here.
Everywhere.
Dumageddon, guys. Come on. Now Jack, he's in a situation. He's 60, his wife is 23. He says we all know and accept the reality. He's saying accept. He went down here and said of our relationship. As long as everyone understands, it's up to you. Just my opinion. Yeah, that's what we said. The problem is getting out of denial. He said, well, where's the red flag? The red flag is not many 23-year-old women are interested in you, Jack, in America. And me either. I mean, I'm with Marilyn. She's 40. Not many attractive 40-year-old women interested in me, John, in America. See, I know it's a fact. So I said, okay. But
that's good.
Women were not the reason I came over here. I promise you. It was only after I got here and I found out, I might as well stay. I'm getting a better selection here than over there, and I'm gonna have to do basically the same thing over there as I'm doing here.
And you're getting younger. You're getting younger over there. There's a time warp in the Philippines.
Calvin, with your lady being 40 years old, I've watched her. She has, that's a good pick that you got, and you're not in the creepy zone. That you're around 60, I think I saw. She's 40. That's not the creepy zone. The creepy zone is, and these guys are watching the video right now, or they'll see it later. The creepy zone is when you're 65 and you're in the 20 to 30 year range. That's, to me, I have a hard time with it because, what are you doing? What is it about yourself that you need this to validate who you are?
Yeah. Now, you just said something. I don't feel comfortable, because like I said, everybody knows I had that affair, with the 21-year-old. Now, that's the reason why we're not together.
Yeah.
Number one, I've got somebody I care about, but it was just too creepy for me. It was just too cringy. And whenever we went outside anywhere, I just felt like the whole world was watching me. I mean, it was a terrible feeling, man.
Good for you.
I can't do it. I don't care how good looking they are. It's just, I'm just a human being now behind closed doors when nobody's watching. That's a different story, but you can't live your life behind closed doors. You got to get out there.
That's
really cringy to me. I can't take it.
That's your no kung fu kicking in. That's when you say, you know what? No, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah. See, but now, like I said, people, and then some guys, they'll say, well, I'm already established. I just want what's going to make me happy. And a 25-year-old woman makes me happy. So I don't care how people define it or whatever it is. I want what I want. And so a lot of guys justify it like that. But I don't know. When you get behind closed doors, that age matters really, man. Because I don't want a woman all day long doing this. And it's what they do. They're on TikTok and Facebook, and you can't get 2 words in with them. That's why I have the meet and greets. People don't even realize it. You got to have these meet and greets, guys, so these guys can have a decent conversation every now and then.
I would encourage people to go back and watch your 60th birthday bash. That was quite a celebration. A big cake, Calvin.
Yeah. Congrats.
Any of them, all of them are like that, though. I just don't film them all. Only the great people show up for those meet and greets. I mean, some good conversation, because you just can't have a good conversation with your woman. I don't care how, Marilyn's intelligent. As intelligent of a woman as I've ever met. But we don't really have no deep conversations or anything.
Nope. Yeah.
I mean, it's just how it is.
Hey, Brian Gumble was famous for saying, got him in a little trouble, was the definition of eternity is the time between when I come and she leaves.
Now, Radar said, glad there's some voice of agreement that extreme gaps are cringy and there's maturity and personality, not just looks. Well, again, we're trying to justify it, okay? These women that we're dealing with over here, we know why they're with us. It's because of what we can do for them, what we offer them, period. Okay, there's no other justification for it. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but that's what it is. Okay, TJ, let's welcome TJ to the chat.
Hello, TJ.
Hey, TJ, how you doing, bro?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm trying to.
Now, I know you spend a lot of money over here. When you go overseas, what do you spend your money on, TJ?
Whatever I want. I guess it's kind of expensive.
No, I mean, the most where's majority of your money go to? Does it go to food? Does it go to accommodations? Your woman?
Probably accommodations. I spend a lot on the comms. I like a nice hotel. I like a good suite. I like a beachfront if I can. So probably accommodation. I know that's outside the normal for the Philippines. I mean, I guess not outside the normal, but the proportion to which I spend is probably a little outside normal. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna goof around with the lights a bit more and see if I can get some better backlighting.
Marvin, thanks for that super sticker. Let's see. Say Calvin, who is my third guest? That's TJ. He's gonna come back on here. Marvin said age does matter, but sex doesn't have age does matter, but sex doesn't. Okay, he says have a little fun, but settle for maturity of age. Well, sex does matter to. I don't know. I guess that's gonna be another. Another opinion. It matters.
It matters to me. It matters to me. I got a 40-year-old daughter, 39. I just have a hard time, and I'm not attracted to girls. I'm attracted to women.
Yeah, he says as a young dude here in Manila, I would say the same. Accommodation has been the highest. Well, are you in a committed relationship or not? Out of ordinary. Big Falk says in all cultures there are various norms that we don't relate to and can't stand. Yeah, but it's life. But that's not what we're saying. See, here's what y'all got to understand. The age gap is only tolerated over here. It's not really accepted, guys. It's only tolerated because they know they can't do anything about it. Okay, but if you walking around, people are going to talk about you over here. They're not just going to ignore you. If you're 60 and your woman's 20 and she looks 16, they're going to point their eyebrows and stuff at you. They're going to laugh at you and talk about you. It's just tolerated over. It's not accepted. The men over here, if you want to piss off a Filipino man, be 60 and have a 20-year-old girl that looks 16. Okay, you'll see that it's not accepted. It's tolerated. They can't do anything about it. But, a lot of guys they're going to justify it. And they say, well, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I like a young woman, and that's fine with that. Mopar says the women here in the USA, no matter what their age or looks, demand money to be with them. They don't love you and no more. They don't love you no more than what a young Filipino can do. I'd rather get what I want for the same. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
What is it that he wants? What does he want? I mean, he used the word love. It's not love. That's what he really wants. He wants a pat on the head. He wants the chemical reactions that are coming in, but it's not love. It's grasp that. He's on track, I think, that if sex, silence, and sandwich is what you want, embrace it and then go for it. But don't try to fool yourself and then go on YouTube and make a video about how badly people are talking about you because you're getting ready to marry a woman that's 35 years younger than you. Embrace your hedonistic life.
Okay, now, TJ, now how old are you, TJ?
There we go. I'm 34.
Okay, now, what's the typical, honestly, what's the typical age of the woman that you date in America?
Probably somewhere between 25, 30.
Yeah, okay. Now, the woman that you're with now, you're in a committed relationship, okay, how old is she?
I don't know what the air quotes were about, but she's 21.
Yeah, see? So it is a difference over here when we come over here. And it doesn't matter. We're not saying it matters. We're just talking about it, guys. Can't we have a conversation? This guy says, well, what? He said, here he is, 60, 20. It's their life. It is their life. We're just having a conversation about it. We're not fighting over it. You can do whatever you want to do. But the guy asked me, what was the red flag?
I can't be at peace unless I know that, when it's a younger girl large age gap, they're very sensitive. And if it doesn't work out and she ends up, back on the poor side of town, that's a hard thing to follow. That's a very, very difficult thing for a young girl to explain why it didn't work out.
Yeah, we're just saying that he said, what's the red flag? And I said, the red flag is that a young, attractive woman is interested in you. She's not interested in you anywhere else in the world but over here. That's the red flag. Okay, it's real. That's what we're talking about. So, but you got guys who are 60 who are with 20-year-old women who say, no, it's different, Calvin. My woman really loves me. And they use that to justify them spending all that money. We're saying that the number one expense for expats in the Philippines is a woman. This is what I'm living, what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing. My biggest expense is my woman. And everybody I come across, it's the same thing. It's more, I guarantee you. If they're being honest,
I could see that. I think my case is probably a fringe one. I don't think most people are probably going to end up, renting a $400 to $600 a night room while they're in the Philippines. Those are that's the extreme high, let's say 0.01%. So I would say if you took that out, and probably Mika's probably my second biggest expense, second or third for sure.
What is the second?
Second would probably be I still shop a bunch when I'm there, especially because I spend a lot of time in Manila and Cebu. So I still spend Western prices at Western fashion labels and stuff like that. So that's actually slightly more expensive.
Do you spend money on your woman?
Not as much as I spend on myself. I really like me. I'm this was all shit I was doing before I met my girlfriend. I was already shopping at luxury brands. I was already staying in the top hotels in the world. This is all old hat to me. It's just she's enjoying the experience. So now I am definitely paying other stuff. I'm not paying money out. I'm not cashing out. When she comes out with me, I'm paying for all that stuff. I'm just saying it would be second or third expense. But the amount I'm spending for a lot of people might be number one if you were to put in the list of their other expenses. So it's all relevant, right?
Would you consider, and would she consider the two of you to be in a committed relationship, or is this just dating, having a good time?
No, it's my girlfriend. I'm in a monogamous relationship for the most
part. Good.
Not even for the most part. Full stop.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that, your situation is different because you're spending so much on hotel and different things like that. But hell, she's wearing the top-notch Jordans. That's a lot of money over here, man.
But I'm not buying them over there, Cal. I'm buying them here in America and bringing them there.
I know it doesn't matter where you buying them, though. You're spending a lot of money, man, on women over here. Let's put it into some context. I mean, that's probably somebody's rent over here.
I mean, that's a lot of people's. I wear on my feet commonly somebody's rent, though. So for me, again, that's comparative. It's for sure that. But you could say the same thing about the hotel rooms I buy or some of the food that I eat. So I definitely get. I'm saying the average person, it probably is their girl. It's probably their largest expense. If you look at the amount of money I'm spending on my girl, it probably links up with or higher than what the average person is spending. I'm just spending more money on other things because I have interests outside of my girl.
Ryan the Eating Warrior, thanks for that super chat. And you're not basically you're not really an expat. You're like a vacationer. Okay. Ryan the Eating Warrior, thanks for that super chat. He says women are all the same. LOL. They play the game where he says play the game where you run out of money and see how much they love you. Come on, guys. This is Relationships 101. Yeah, I think we all know that. I don't think there's anybody on this panel who thinks their woman is with them simply for them. Okay? Especially if you're dating a Filipina. I mean, they're on those dating sites for a reason. It's not to find love. It's to find a come up. And for most of them, that's what they get. They get that come up. Carl Butt said, what's wrong with 2, 3, or 4 Filipinos if you can afford a 190,000 peso budget. I mean, I don't understand. Where you going with this? I don't understand it.
Well, I suspect that he's talking about being a butterfly, and as long as he can support the lifestyle of the girls that will tolerate that, what's wrong with it? You know, that each man to his own.
Yeah, that's a lot of money he's spending. But anyway, okay, the poor man's passport guy, and this is true with me. This is what happened to me because I used to be into all that materialism and spending all that money on stuff. But the older I've got, the less that means anything to me anymore. I'm not trying to impress anybody because that's what I was really doing, you know, and it wasn't to impress women. It was really to impress my friends. It was to impress other men, to be honest with you. That's just being honest. But, you know, a lot of times, man, we want to be the exception. That just proves the rule to be correct. These guys over here, they're going broke with these women. Okay? They're spending more on them than they're spending on their rent, their food, and anything else.
Jeez.
It's just what I'm seeing. Al Rogan said Expat John should be a cautionary tale. Why?
I don't quite get that one. Last I checked, when John went out, outside of the heart attack, he was having a pretty damn good time. I mean, he had certain aspects of the Philippines he was beleaguered with, but I don't think you could have convinced him to go home.
JM says, what do you spend your money on in the Philippines, Cal? In that order. My woman, food. I don't have rent. Well, I got rent in in Sikihor now. Entertainment, travel, and then my trick bill. You know, my trick bill is basically going to the gym and costs to go to the gym, traveling around. But, you know, I'm just telling you, that's what I spend my money on. He says, money cannot buy love. He says, I have a living budget and I have a play budget. Well, they go hand in hand. If they're coming out of the same bank account, they're coming out of your pocket.
It can't buy love, but it can facilitate the conditions to foster it. That's what a lot of people forget.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to have that meet cute story if you can afford to take her out to a coffee and then a dinner the next day or something like that. You're making $15 a day at McDonald's and you live in New York. It's a tougher swing. Even if she digs your personality or thinks that you're a sweet person and all that, there's unfortunately, money is social lubrication. We can't really make social functions happen without it unless something gives.
Now he says money cannot buy love, but being broke can't buy love either. I hate to tell you that. Not a whole lot of women, unless you're just a young guy. You know, when you're in high school and junior high school, looks matter. But when you get 60 years old, man, looks don't matter. Ryan the Eating Warrior, thanks for that super chase. Said absolutely no reason guys should be going broke in the Philippines. I can't wrap my head around that. Well, tell them again, John, what you were saying about the validation and stuff.
Well, you know, everybody has a self-esteem and ego, and sometimes it's pretty bruised as a result of life choices. Sometimes people don't accept their responsibility on what put them there. So, you know, they've made a choice to find their validation in some other form. And maybe that form has been one wife after another, or one girlfriend after another. And when you're 65 years old, you've spent a total of 1 year of your life as a single man, and you have absolutely no idea who you are as a single person. You're still relating as somebody that's part of a unit or a couple, and so you're throwing money. It's dopamine. You're throwing money at something because it triggers a hormonal response in your brain, And sometimes later on, when that dopamine high is done, you have regret. It's like being an addict. It's like being an alcoholic or a gambling addict. You throw your money at it, and sometimes you have regret afterwards that you did it, but you keep coming back and doing the same thing over and over and over again because you are so unvalidated as a DJ's kind of in the sweetheart at 35 years old. He's in a great position. When you're 65 years old, you got a lot of mileage behind you, and if you haven't grasped who you are and made a commitment to self-improvement, you're just going to keep doing the same things over and over and over again, and they're probably destructive behaviors.
Yeah. Now, Al Rogan, he says Expats Johnson's cautionary story. This guy is way down on the totem pole. He didn't really spend any money. Yeah, what he had, 30,000? I just had a subscriber come here and stay in the Philippines 2 months and spent 30,000. This guy was just a complete idiot, is what he was.
He was.
And tell that he don't have a bit of sense to begin with. He just came over here. They say a fool and money and soon parted. He was a fool. What he did, you know, it's not like his story was so. He only went through 30,000. I had a guy just come here and went through 30,000 in 2 months. That's not a cautionary tale. I mean, I guess it is, but that's nothing.
Calvin, it's like I told you last time. If you've got borderline personality disorders or whatever your dysfunction is in the United States, you're just going to drag them with you to the Philippines or to Thailand or to Mexico. You know, the location doesn't change. If you're a fool, you're a fool.
Let me ask you, Robert. You're single now, right?
Right.
Why do you think you're single over there?
Well, I just feel I have a better way of life living in the Philippines, and I don't want to get any.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Why do you think you're single in America? Why do you think you're single in Arizona?
Okay, because I don't like being emotionally bankrupt. Okay, I'm listening to what John says. This codependency is sick, man. You know how long it takes to get your self-esteem back? I'm back, okay, but it took a long time, and that's why I stay single, because I love my self-esteem. I love me, right, John?
Okay,
yes.
Let me ask you, what is your dating pool look like if you decided today that you wanted to go out there and date again? What would it look like? What would the age range be? Do you think? I'm be realistic. I'm trying to make a point here as to why guys come.
Probably, I would say that I might catch the eye. I'm 67. I might catch the eye of a woman 55 years old working in a dollar store. I don't know.
That's very realistic.
Yeah.
She might help me find. No, she'll go out of her way. I'm not a bad-looking man, even without teeth. But, you know, she'll go out of her way to show me something in the aisle and make sure I find what I need, because I don't know that. Yeah, the attraction is there maybe for 55 and on up. That would be my dating pool here.
Yeah. Which I don't know what. It's not many attractive-looking 55-year-olds over there.
They try.
Yeah. Okay, Laura says, hi, Calvin, hi, people. I would guess many have a hard time managing money and living below their means. But you really don't have to live below your means. If you're a 2-star, what the mistake we make is, if a guy's a 2-star in America, you need to come over here and be a 2-star. Okay? Because it's going to take you a while to understand the peso economy. So $1,000 in your hand in America is going to be the same $1,000 in your hand in the Philippines. You're going to spend it the same exact way. You're not going to save any of that. So it's not so much about living below their means. They're trying to live above their means. They're saying, oh, okay, I'm going to live across the street from Ayala Mall for $600 a month and then throw in another $200 for utilities. That's your whole Social Security check. Instead of you coming over here, living among the locals and maybe you're paying $150 per month. Okay, because that Section 8 you're living on over there, that senior high rise you're living in America, man, it's not Cebu Business Center, guys. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So we're living above, trying to live above our means. Have you invested any money over here, TJ?
Not terribly. I'm thinking about purchasing a condo in the not especially near future. But other than like a few thousand pesos I have in G Invest, so they'll raise my G Cash limit. No, nothing. Keep all my investments stateside.
Yeah. Now, Abel's Journey says the poor man's passport guy. Still understand that Calvin is warning us that we're ruining the fields. No, I didn't say that. By the overindulging the fields financially. No, I'm talking about you can ruin a woman over here by giving her too much too soon. And I see it done all the time. I'm getting ready to come out with a video. There's a lot of good women over here. But what you need over in the Philippines is a great woman. And the difference is a great woman over here can take care of herself with or without you. Okay, if you just got a woman who's sitting around, is not working, has no job prospects, just sitting around waiting to be rescued, that's probably not the type of woman you want to deal with over here. Because eventually you're going to spend the money anyway, but you're going to ruin her. I just had a friend, he built like a $4 million house and renovated and did all this for a woman who didn't even have a job when he met her. Now, if he leaves, if something happens to him, what happens to the house? They're going to sell it. I've seen it done over and over and over here. But people aren't listening. If she couldn't take care of herself before you met her, what makes you think she can take care of that big ass house now all of a sudden? But I'm not saying we're not ruining the Philippines, because it's just been going on for years, man. Centuries, really.
Calvin, I got a point here. The Filipino makeover. See, that's the difference. The Filipino makeover. When I talk online to a younger Filipina, I said, "Baby, I don't have any teeth." Well, you're still handsome. You still look handsome.
Now, Marvin said, "I'm 56 and I date 40 here in the States." Now, why is that? Do you have money, Marvin? Are you nice looking? What does the woman look like? Why are you able to date so much younger over there in America?
Another question that might be pertinent is where Marvin lives, because obviously it's a lot easier to pull a 40-year-old in Tuscaloosa than it is like Los Angeles.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I've been pondering something. I want to throw at you and see what your thoughts are. It sounds to me like at least one person and many more are online talking to these girls, which is crazy in my opinion. It just leads to a bad road, but each to their own. Have you done the same thing in the United States? And my notice is, like Facebook dating or whatever, you see women and they tell you exactly what it is that they're looking for. But if you look beyond that, you see how they're living, their vacations, what they're driving, all of these things. And I got to tell you, when I sold the home in 2010, about the last thing in the world I want to get involved in is that again. I don't want to wake up every day having to support that kind of lifestyle. And they aren't even the least bit interested in spending time with an old beach bum that, has no interest in any of that. Have you noticed things like that? They'll tell you in many different ways what it is that they're interested in.
Now, Jack Wolfanger says some men don't want a 50-year-old. I get that. I'm one of them. He said preferences as long as they are legal and you accept the reality of the relationship. Well, what is the reality of the relationship? Because now you're saying I love my wife and she loves me, and that's all that matters. You know, so what's the reality that you're talking about then? Is the reality that she's with you because of what you can do for her, which 99.9% of the time, that's what it amounts to over here. And then you get guys like this who want to co-sign. These are the guys who end up getting screwed up over here. It is none of our business, but we're just trying to help people, man. We're trying to talk about this stuff. All we're having is a conversation. Maybe you can take something from it and learn. It's no one's business what you do with your money in your life. That's what all the suckers say. That's what that man is saying who's in that damn hospital in Lapu Lapu that sent all his damn money over here, Neil, to this woman. Oh, it's my money. It's my life. I can do with what I want to do with it. Now you waiting on the U.S. Embassy to send his ass back home. It's people like you who don't learn from these conversations, man. We don't give a damn, really. We're just trying to help you avoid that kind of stuff because it's happening too much over here. We're just saying that don't think that woman's really in love with you. Maybe does love develop? Yeah, I love Curly, but I'm not gonna marry him. And that's the way these women are loving us, like we some type of pets or something, some type of, like they love their grandfather or somebody. Hey, a woman will love you, man. What these women are. These are human beings. What makes you think a 20-year-old woman is going to find a 70-year-old man attractive? In what fucking universe, guys? Get your head out of your ass. It's not going to happen. Ryan the Eating Warrior, thanks for the super chat. I'm 32. When I move to the Philippines next year, I'm going to try to live like a local for 6 months to a year to see how much I can realistically save. I might do a video series on it. Yeah, but you can live, okay. Before I built this house, y'all saw, go on my channel, I'll show you my $170 house we were renting in the Philippines. It was really nice. It was 2-bedroom. It was a modern house. You don't have to live like a local, but you can live around the locals and you can save a whole lot of money. I mean, I just don't see the point of throwing away all that money. That's the reason I came to the Philippines. If I wanted to live all like that, I'd be in Thailand, I'd be in America some damn where. Yeah, see, okay, now this is what we're talking. So, yeah, she's with me for what I can do for her. I accept that fact. I mean, as long as you can accept that, man, I mean, that helps you get through the day. Now, TJ says, all good. It takes a bit to settle and start to wonder if I did it wrong before it came through. What were you talking about, TJ?
Somebody was asking me about raising the Gcash limit to the 500K cap. You got to either go through like GSave or GInvest and put a token amount in there and wait a couple of weeks. And he was just wondering if he had did it right.
Okay, now he's saying wait a few months before you try to live like a local. You can't live like a local over here, but you don't have to. You're not going to eat fried rice. I mean, you're going to eat fried fish and rice. You're not going to do that. You're not going to eat at these cafeterias every single day when the food is cold. This is their culture, man. You can't, man, that's culture shock. You'd be so damn miserable. You go back home. You couldn't do that. Why would you do that?
I mean, from my experience, it's usually the opposite. Usually people come here, and if they're going to stay long term, like maybe month one and a half. I know this last long go around when I was there for like a half a year, like that first month. I mean, this is COVID too, so there's almost nothing open. But like you end up doing a lot more Western stuff. You eat at more Western places. You shop for more Western goods, and then your expenses kind of normalize around like month 3 or 4, I would say. You kind of go, all right, well, I know I can get this from the store and it tastes pretty much like Kraft cheese, or I don't have to get Samsung everything. I can get like Hanabishi for some stuff, or you find what you can or won't compromise on, and you're your budget tends to level out. But I found it's a lot easier to start high and then lower down to where like you find yourself working comfortably. Because if you come out here and try to like live like a local as a challenge, like you're not really on vacation. You're more like you're on survival mode at that point. It's like, damn, that's a long way to go to struggle. That's a very long plane ride to be miserable.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. And you hit on something because I just call it vacation mode. We spend a whole lot more money when we first get here. And eventually it levels out. Once you get in where you fit in, you found, the grocery store that sells the things you want and everything like that. But he's saying, Dana Milton says, women all over the world are looking for a man that makes more money than they do. Okay. Their mothers always told them to find a man with potential, meaning money. Okay, yeah, that's true, but this is a different dynamic over here. We're talking 20-year-old women with 60-year-old men. Now, their mothers didn't tell them to go out and find a man that's 40 years older than you. I don't think they said that. We need to get out of denial, guys. We keep saying that all women are the same all over the world. Well, they might be. But over here, when you come over here as a 60-year-old man, and these women are finding you attractive at 20, 25, and 30, you better know that's a red flag.
Hey, Calvin, can I ask you a question, sir?
Yeah.
Well, Captain, how many, didn't you say you've made 25 trips out there, and maybe CJ's made as many, and John's been across the border multiple times? These guys watching here, they need to know that they're in the bonus round. They're in the 25X bonus round. You got some, pay attention, listen, drop some gems. That's why are we here? Just to sort of fiddle around? No, we want to learn something. These guys got some time under their belt. You're in the bonus round.
This is four guys talking and a bunch of people that'll watch and nobody anything different. It's not going to change anybody.
I made 100 trips to Mexico. In and out of Mexico, John. In and out of Mexico since 1980. Over 100 trips. From Tucson to the Gulf and back. See if Marv Cortez, yo puedo hablar contigo en español, pues.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Laura says, I think that they love you, but cultures define love differently. You are changing their lives and bringing hope to their families. Yeah, but it's not. That's
gratitude.
That's the whole point. Laura, you make a great point. But we justified that. I mean, that's our justification for spending so much money. Yeah, they love you, but they love you like I love Curly. There's true love over here. Women who love the Filipino man, and they're around the same age, and they got crushes on them in high school, like they do everybody else, like it is everywhere else around the world. But you're talking about a 70-year-old man or 20-year-old woman. That's not a real type of love. I don't care. I mean, we can justify it all we want, guys. Come on. I don't buy it. Brian, thanks for that super chat. He says, it's cool. I've deployed a few times. I'm all about the experience. Oh, okay. He's talking about coming over and living like a local. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one right there. It really is.
Godspeed and good luck, buddy. Could be me.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one there. Okay, now, Neil Ramrat says, I do learn, Calvin. We know love is not instant. He says, okay, Marilyn said that on a previous video. Remember, we're here for a flicker. Yeah, some guys don't use common sense to get burned. Is that the majority? I don't know. We're just trying to help. If we can help one person, we really did our job. I know it sounds cringy, but it's true. It's happening too much when there's all these conversations on YouTube. It's not just on my channel. They're everywhere. The Man of Spirit channels, they're telling us what to look out for, what to do, what not to do, giving great suggestions. But what do? The minute we get off the plane, we start building houses and buying lots and cars and all that, motorcycles. So I just want to know why we do it. John gave us a reason. of course, I can't tell you what to do with your money.
I'm going to tell you. I want to tell you just a little story, a short one. I'll make it real short because I know that's what you want. I had a guy here named John, appropriate enough, about 67 years old, trucker. He's had a couple heart attacks, a couple bypasses. Nice enough guy, but he had gone to the Philippines, married a woman, built a house, and she took everything. And so he came back to the United States, and he moved down here to Rocky Point. And it was, while he was here, it was a revolving door of working girls, blue pills and working girls. And he'd get on Facebook and drive all the way out to Ensenada. Some girl who had posted a picture 10 years ago at 150 pounds. This was a guy who was chasing validation. He was chasing somebody to pat him on the head. He would say that he just wanted a girlfriend. He wasn't interested in a working girl. He wanted a girlfriend. And so he went back to the Philippines because, well, in the Philippines, his girlfriend would be a lot cheaper than they were in Mexico. And he went to the woman that ripped him off before, because I suppose she was the path of least resistance, and she knew he was too, and she took him again. So he was back to the United States, sleeping on a couch at some friend's house, and I think he just went back to the Philippines. Calvin, there are many men like him watching this, watching the other videos. What do you do?
Yeah. Well, we just keep talking about it. We keep talking about it, and then the guys who are not like that will get some help. W Secrets of Success, thanks for that super chat. He said, Cal, my money's going toward pomelo fruit. Have you ever had that over here, TJ? He said, I need you to overnight a bushel or two to me. Now, that's money well spent. That's sort of like the Filipino grapefruit.
Yeah, I haven't had a pomelo like just straight up, but I've had it in cocktails before. Like they've like juiced a pomelo for a cocktail, and I've had it as like one of those little shakes that are basically like condensed milk and some shaved ice and some sugar and all that. But yeah, not too many straight up pomelos. I'm more of my go-to in the Philippines is, I mean, it's kind of cliche, but the mangoes. A good mango, like right when they're in the middle of like right in the season, especially, or like even in like a mango shake on the beach, can't beat it. Cannot.
Hey, thanks, Franz Brasio Jr. for that super chat. He said, what's up, brother Cal, TJ in the panel? He said, TJ, when you're going back to the Philippines?
A little less than a month. Should be right around 23rd, 24th, something like that. I have one of those weirdo flights, so I'll get in I'll leave one day and I'll get here 2 days later. I'll get there.
Now the poor man's passport guide, everybody knows he likes lady boys. Now, John, you'd like to hear his story.
Oh, jeez.
Everyone?
Listen, we're not going to judge anybody.
Everyone knew that. This is new to me.
Women treated him so bad in America that he wanted something different. So he switched over to the boys. But he says, I'm 62. I don't want a 62-year-old lady boy, just a sexy companion. And I guess that's the same as what we're saying, a lot of us, but don't fool yourself and think, oh, well, this is going to be one of those Disneyland romances or something. Yeah, she's going to grow to love you, just like I love Curly, but she's not, come on, man.
That's why you can be a Joe or a John or a David. I forgot to put David down here, but a Joe, a John, or a David.
What's a David? Oh yeah,
Poor man's passport guy.
Yeah. He said,
hey, shout out to him, man.
Said he didn't want vagina anymore, TJ. So I said,
some people.
That's what I'm saying. I've got to
maybe
that, man.
Maybe Dylan Matt will be moving to the phone soon. It's one more in the dating pool for him.
Man, if you sit around Pat's, especially on 2nd Street on a day, you'll see most people going down Soy 6. But hey, sometimes somebody wants a little bit of soy one, if you know what I mean, or 6-1. That's like the little side street where you'll know if you made a mistake very fast, very quickly. And you
Yeah.
know, there are a lot of dudes every trip. I've been seeing it. I've been going to Thailand longer than going to the Philippines, and you'll always see somebody accidentally go down that way and then disappear down the alley, and they won't pop back out. So you know, it's to each their
I
own.
didn't
I
see that.
respect the brother for being forthright about it.
I
That's
didn't
right.
see that in Mexico. I didn't see that in Mexico.
Well, that's
You
because
know,
Pad Thai is
they say
absolutely nothing like Mexico. That's like talking
no
about the G
in
League
Mexico.
to the
They
NBA
say
Finals.
un hombre del otro lado de la calle. No, they don't like that. Man.
Well,
They call you a joto.
let,
You're,
let me
there's a
let me
joto.
tell you a little story about that. I have a buddy that ran the. It was a hotel, actually a motel, and it was just a dumping ground for the prostitutes. Oh man, if you ever watched The Walking Dead, if you go out, sometimes I'd go out there at night and sit with him just to do some, and it was like a scene from The Walking Dead. And that's where the Benny boys would show up. They absolutely would show up. And, you know, there's a taste for them here. Oddly enough, there's some expats, American expats that go to the American here. And they're definitely looking for that kind of flavor. And there's a couple hotels that they're there. They're right there.
To clarify, you're where again?
I beg your pardon?
Where exactly are you again? I came in late. Apologies.
It's Puerto Peñasco, Mexico. It's Rocky Point, Mexico, right below Arizona.
Oh, you're both? Wait, I thought both of you were in Mexico for a second. I got confused.
Yeah, he's just 200 miles away in Phoenix.
Thanks, Vincent Hinton, for that super sticker. This guy's a long-time supporter. I think he started coming around. I don't even think I had 1,000 subscribers. But this is a solid brother here, man. I appreciate you, man. Good to see you. I know you probably on that hamster wheel right now. DJ Lloyd Buck said, facts. My first wife is from Mauritius. Is that Mexico or here?
No. That's an island
Mauritius,
from southern Africa, I think.
Yeah,
Okay, she
Mauritius
asked me for $2,500 to take our two kids to see their family. They built a house behind their house, and now it's an Airbnb, and the family's wealthy. Wow. So she did good with that money then, right? But he said it's not pay for play. Here's what's going on, in my humble opinion. We think we can change things, or we think we've changed things. This has been going on before anybody watching this was born. Let me make that clear. You're not changing anything, buddy. It's always been that way. But we'll come over and say, oh, it's not pay for play. They don't want me for my money. They don't want me for what I can do for them. They simply want me for me. That's bullshit. And a lot of us really aren't honest enough with ourselves. Like John said, we don't go inside enough to realize how lonely and desperate and maybe delusional we are. It's okay, guys, to do that. That's the only way you're going to get some help, is to admit you got a damn problem. But if you think that, you know, that what's going on over here hasn't been going on over here for a long, long time, and that all of a sudden your situation is unique, man, I got some swampland in Kentucky I'm selling. You guys are crazy.
I'm curious how much of the GDP is made up in expats and or long-term relationships providing to the Philippines. How much of the GDP is that?
It would be tough because it would all fold into remittances, which is one of the biggest.
Yeah, you're right, TJ. He's exactly right. I looked that up, and what they're going to do, they're including us, believe it or not, in the Filipinos who live in America sending money back. They're putting us in that bucket. 13 billion last year. So we're somewhere inside of that, John. That's a lot of money. But they don't have a specific to say what the man is sending over there.
I'm sure that's something they don't want to publicize, and they don't want to stop it either.
Yeah, remittances coming from the U.S. to the Philippines was 13.2 billion last year. So we're somewhere in that figure.
Yeah.
So if you say 10% of that, which probably wouldn't be a bad thing.
So
you're
so
looking
TJ,
at
how much are the flights now?
From here, so from California, I think I paid $8.90 for a one-way. I had a return ticket already via an award ticket that I halfway used with ANA last time I was there, so I only paid that. But I think when I was looking at round trips, yeah, there's somewhere in the if you go with, depending on what airline you fly, I prefer to fly United because I have elite status with them, so it's a little higher. But I think some of the less glamorous carriers were somewhere around 800, 900 for the round trip if you book a couple months in advance.
That's reasonable.
Now,
Yeah, that's not too bad.
He says, I have a different dynamic outlook on what I see. He said, many teachers and nurses come to the U.S. and can offer a lot to U.S. men. They hold their own. Yeah, but see, their expectations are way out there, just like the American woman's expectations. And that culture shock is going to get them the same way it does as it does the rest of them. Okay, because you got to realize the culture is the culture. And see, this is where we're talking about, my Filipinos better than yours. Okay, it doesn't matter what they're doing. They're going over there in America in that matrix, and it's probably not going to work. A lot of them marriages don't work either. But, yeah, you're right. If that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for a woman that makes the same amount of money as you, I don't know. But one thing I know is this. When Filipinos come to America, when I brought my wife over in 2014, we went to the Catholic Mass. And you see a Filipinos. These aren't Filipinos anymore, guys. These are Americans. They don't act they don't act like the Filipinos over here. It's 100%. It's like night and day. They're not looking at you. They're not happy. They're not welcoming. They're not smiling. Okay, and a lot of them, they want white men when they move over there. They're not looking at black men over there. I hate to tell you, you'll get something over here. You're not gonna get something over there because they're already gonna be, tainted by all of that, the isms that's going on over there in America. So no, I don't want that either. Robert, Dana says, Robert, you'll never pass the smell test if you keep smoking over here. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I just want a woman that I can get along with.
That's good.
I just want a woman I can get along with. She don't even have to have a college degree. She don't have to have a good job, really. If we can get along, if we, guys, as much in common as we could possibly have, these are the guys. There's some guys who prefer that, and I don't knock them for that, but I've never had a woman. Maybe I'm like John. Men date down, or we date sideways and date down. Maybe that's me because I've never had a woman that may earn more money than me because it never really mattered to me. Maybe the high earners aren't interested in sunshine shoulders. I don't know. But I don't think it makes a difference because if it did, maybe they would stay together. 50% of marriages are still ending in divorce in America. 75% of the new ones are like, wow.
I think it's 70% of all new marriages, Calvin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a lot, Robert. So why would you want to deal with that? It's like walking into the damn casino.
That's why I just, when I'm thinking and I'm dreaming, I'm a dreamer, and I'm thinking, well, honey, where you been? She said, well, I was just at the church and I lit a candle for you. Okay, she lit a candle for you. And I'm thinking, wow, that's sweet. Over here, they'll light a fire for you, a $500 fire in a divorce court.
Brandon, Eating Warrior, thanks for that super chat. He said, don't bring your Filipino to the U.S. LOL, it's the beginning of the end if you do. Now, he's talking from his experience. And, you know, he's the guy up here says, oh, what did he say? He says, but I got news for him right here. He says, a foreign woman will come to the U.S. and become Americanized real quick. They become Americanized the minute they start fooling with you. The minute they start fooling with us. We Americanize them, or Europeanize them, or whatever you want to call it. Wherever you from. Remember that osmosis is real. She's going to start hanging around you, developing your habits and everything. Your standard of living, your expectations, all of that. And if you can be honest, the Filipino you're dating over here, she's changed. She's not the same woman you met.
Whoever has the money has the power. The minute you start giving that money to someone else, you've changed the entire dynamic of the relationship.
Yeah. Now, see, this is what she's saying. She's saying, Laura says, my experience is the Filipinos I see around me, these are the ones in America. They become Americanized. They're very, very, very materialistic, like most Americans are in America. This is what I saw at that Catholic mass. Man, trust me, a woman pulled up in a Maserati, man. I'm like, damn. You know, they're getting out with these big-ass Louis Vuitton purses. They just look to me. There's no, hey, how you doing? You know how when you over here, Filipinos, they're warm, they're welcoming. Everybody speaks to you. Not over there, man. Something's changed.
I would want to push back on that because I live in one of the largest Filipino communities outside of the Philippines, and I think that they do what any immigrant group does when it comes to America or to another land. They assimilate. So if you're in one part of the world, that might be them becoming, you know, bougie, holier than thou's. In Oakland, Filipinos are some of the like coolest, chillest, most down folks that you're gonna run into. They live generally in or near black neighborhoods. They're like, I wouldn't say to the point of cultural appropriation, but they grow up around a lot of the exact same stuff as us. So like here in the South City and Peninsula, maybe that's the exception to the rule, but I know Houston, H-Tex has a really strong Filipino community. LA, like all the folks I've met from out there, they're real, just good ass people. So I mean, maybe it's your mileage may vary.
I understand what you're saying. But that's a difference between being born there, TJ, than coming over that. Those are American-born Filipinos.
So when they come to the United States and they assimilate, do they tend to date within their culture, to marry within their culture when they're here?
I haven't seen it. Dice roll.
I'm just talking about the ones I was around because it doesn't mean I'm talking for everybody. Absolutely, they assimilate into the white culture over there. That's what they assimilate into.
That's unfortunate.
I'm just talking about mine, which is a very small, it's not even on the radar. 100% of them. Okay.
Well, that's why, you know, John would know they're in Mexico, they call them Chicanos or Chicanas. And I never dated a Chicano. The Chicanas are Mexican, 100%. And Chicanos, they were born here and they just feel a little more entitlement. They were born here.
Yeah. You know, believe it or not, okay, if you don't think I'm telling the truth, my wife, my Filipino wife I brought over 2011, hung around nothing but black people because I'm black, right? The whole 10 years we're together. The minute we split up, she went with a white guy. Why? Because all of her friends are with white men and they pointed her toward that white man. See, it's just how it is. I'm just telling you my experience. It may not be anybody else's experience. This woman was around nothing but black people in the black culture the whole 10 years. Now all of a sudden, she's with a white man.
What does that suggest?
No, I'm saying that you were talking about, do they assimilate? You were asking me, do they assimilate into the culture or what? Do they marry? Do Filipinos marry Filipinos over there? That's what I'm answering to, John.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't. She's not looking for no Filipino man. She wouldn't dare date a Filipino man over there.
Wait, are we talking about first gens or second gens now?
No, we're talking about coming over. The ones we coming over that are coming over. I know the ones who grow up in America, but see, I've never met any like that.
I
don't know, man.
It depends on how long they've been here. I'll say that the folks I know that have been here 10, 15 years, definitely have more conservative, more Catholic, kind of traditional views than folks that maybe came over as children or, have been here 25 years or more. So I definitely also think it depends on immersion. Because like somebody said in chat, I forget who brought it. Oh yeah, Swade Houston was like the second generation Bay Area Filipinos are cool. Their parents are nice but steeped in cultural traditions. So you have them in like that first generation. They're just kind of navigating what it means to like succeed out here, and then they pass it on to their kids, whatever that might. I know some dudes, especially I won't put any specifics out there, but I know some Filipino families that they'll send their kids back to the Philippines to find a good wife because they don't want them to date anybody. Like they abhor like what's going on in the States. Or maybe if they've been here a full generation and their kids grew up there, they might send them back. Especially, the American factor works for Philams too. A lot of cats, that are Philam out here and might not have as much luck finding a Filipina girlfriend here because they're not in that success range, because it's still kind of like, that whole tiger mom, marry a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, we don't really care what race he is situation. So, some dudes send their sons specifically back to, the Philippines to meet a girl and marry, and then they come back after the fact. I've seen that one too.
Yeah. Ryan is eating warrior. Thanks for that super chat. He said they just come over living their American dream. Yeah, and I don't blame them really, because it's something new to them, just like the Philippines is new to us. I mean, imagine telling a Filipino who lives here that this is paradise. It's the same thing as when they come over there. They're saying, oh, man, this is the land of milk and honey, America's paradise. It's just because it's something different. But he said, yeah, the Filipinos that come to Texas or Colorado, they'll assimilate to the white culture. That's true. It's just what I'm seeing. It doesn't mean it's everywhere. I've very seldom seen any of them, but it doesn't. That's not anything bad. It's just that they associate white with power. Okay, so they're saying, I want to be associated with the power structure. I mean, do you blame them? I mean, black people did the same thing, still doing it.
But there's that face factor for them too, because if you are a first generation, if you came over here as a 20-something or whatever, and you bring back your, white American boyfriend and your like mixed baby, like that's a flex. Everybody wants to see your adorable, mixed baby and all that good stuff. And that's like, that's you gain face for coming back versus you come back with a Filipino guy, they're like, you went all the way to the States to marry a Filipino dude and then bring him back to the Philippines. Like, if you don't get out of here.
Yeah, but you got a flip side of that too. See, sometimes like I know a lady right now to this day, she's chatting with a black man in America. He's fell head over heels for sins of valley, buying boxes, money, the whole 9 yards. He's on his way over here. They're gonna hook up. He's gonna come back and sign the visa and bring her over. He doesn't realize she's got a Filipino boyfriend over here that she's gonna divorce his ass, and then bring the Filipino man over, and that happens. That happens a lot. now because people won't listen. They won't vet. They won't, they think they're the exception. I'm sitting here telling you that it's happening, and it could be happening to you, but you're going to take her for face value. We literally take them for face value. Whatever they say, we believe it. But this getting ready to happen to him, and it's happened before. Just in this little small San Carlos, there's 3 women in that situation. But one of them is in a situation where she's talking to a man in America, but he's afraid to come over here. Imagine how naive people can be. They're trying to Photoshop pictures and send it into the damn Homeland Security. See, because he's afraid to come over here. So they send out all the application and then they're Photoshopping pictures.
Why?
What are they doing?
Why?
Yeah. Thinking they're going to
qué?
get away with it. It never happened. So what she's trying to do now is to meet one of us from over there to come over, take her back, and then she's going to run off with him. Same thing happened to
Damn, and one of y'all are gonna do it too, 1,000%. And they might not be in this chat, they might not be in this room, they might not see this video. Somebody's gonna do that dumb shit. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Go on. It's fun times.
Yeah, see. But that's what happened to a brother down in Jacksonville, Florida. Everybody was telling him the red flags, man. Say, hey, because, okay, he comes over here, does the 2-week marriage. Don't know the woman from Adam. Goes back and does the spousal visa. It gets approved, but guess what she throws on him? Oh, I want to stop off in New Jersey first before I come to Jacksonville, Florida. I'm like, dude, everybody knows what she's doing. She's seeing somebody else. So he goes through all of this expense, paying for everything, and then buys her a ticket, not to Florida, but to Jacksonville. But to New Jersey. She stays there 2 weeks, comes back while he's at work. She gets her green card in the mail. She runs off with the guy in New Jersey. Like, yes,
Man, I have no time for simps. No time. So, TJ, a question, and Calvin could probably answer too. I haven't been to the Philippines since I was in the Navy back in the early 80s. And I am, wanting to get out and visit, not to come see the ladies, but culture, do something different, do whatever. The tickets I've noticed are about the price you said. Are you getting an onward return ticket and getting an extended visa when you're in the Philippines? Or do you have an open return ticket when you fly in?
Generally, I have a return ticket already. Sometimes, if I'm going for an indeterminate period of time, I'll just get the return ticket, and I'll just, especially like post-pandemic, since they started doing like unlimited change fees. Now I'll kick the can a billion times. I used to aim for a slightly cheaper ticket and like just factor into the cost that I might have to pay a change fee once or twice to move it. But now they're like all the changes are usually just straight across except for difference, and that's
so you just got to pay a little extra to make changes to the return ticket?
Yeah, you might have to pay a difference. Like for example, I use United. For United, if you make changes, you generally need to just pay the fare difference.
I see.
And if there's a negative fare difference, you'll get that back in trip credit or future travel credit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I would say if anybody's watching this, man, screw them on with tickets, guys. That's what this guy did here in Lapu-Lapu. He lost all his money. Now he can't get back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just always let them know I can get back.
Man, and just pay the extra fee if you're going to change it or whatever. At least you got a way home.
Yeah, you always want to have an exit route. You'll never want to end up in a situation where you're returning back to like your country of origin determines on like the kindness of strangers. Like that's you done goofed at that point.
Yeah, good info.
W Secrets to Success Blog. Thanks for that super chat. Said Cal, where's Elance Grinch? Well, she's no longer a moderator. We had a conversation. We made some mistakes, and I'm gonna put it on me. She banned a lot of people, man, and a lot of my longtime supporters, and I haven't been able to put them back, man. They're mad at me for that. And you know, it's okay to put somebody in timeout, but I think when you ban them, I think that has to fall on my shoulders. I mean, you can ban somebody if they're attacking, if they're trolling, but if you just don't agree with them, you can't ban them. The banning, that's like the death sentence, really. I mean, everybody doesn't deserve to be banned. If you curse, say something about women or something like that, about gays or blacks or something. But if you troll, yeah, ban them. But you know, so because you really can't train moderators, man. It's something that has to come like naturally. Like Jacob
It depends on how hard you hit. Never mind. I'm just joking.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they've been doing it long enough. They know the difference between a troll and somebody who just doesn't agree with what we're saying on here. And so we just agreed for her to step down. It's no big deal. You know, really. The poor man's passport guy said Asians don't date blacks in the USA. So it's different. Well, you know, you're always gonna see you know, the exception. Okay. And remember the Asian
I
women.
feel like sometimes people won't date you, and somehow like you might let that extrapolate that to an entire race or subcategory of people. I feel like that's when you say X won't date X. That's wild. I can tell you the majority of my relationships in the States have been black, followed by Latina. Or I'm sorry, Asian, followed by Latina, then black, then white.
But how many black women are dating Asian men? Would you say?
I know of few actually.
Yeah, I know you know, but I mean, of all you got 20 million black women, TJ, because you know a few. It's not the norm, man. It's not the norm.
I mean, what is the norm? Are you talking about majority? Or are you just saying like the majority of people? It's probably black on black, right?
Well, no, what he's saying is they typically you don't see many Asian black couples. Now where maybe he's in San Francisco. That's where he's from. Now, I would say you probably see more on the West Coast because that's where a lot of the majority of Filipinos are you know, and the West Coast and then down in Florida. But I'm saying this is not something typical that you see. But this guy Frank Ellis said Filipino women in the Matrix are not interested in Filipino men. Now, what do you think about that? Is that something you see a lot of, TJ?
I'm sorry, I was reading the chat. What's up?
He says Filipino women in the Matrix are not interested in dating Filipino men.
Like other Phil-Am dudes? I see plenty of Phil-Am couples.
Yeah, but that's a Phil-Am. We're talking about
Filipinas that have come over. I don't know. I see them dating Asians in general. I don't know if they're dating specifically Filipinos. I don't know if my scanner is high enough level to discern that. I look in the Bay Area and you see a lot of cross national dating, you know, between Asians. So again, maybe it's more or less common here. There are certain things. There's a strata about how it works and all that stuff, but no, you see it. But I feel like they date pretty much like against the same odds as Westerners. You see them dating decent amount of their same kind, then probably followed by white dudes, and probably followed by everything else thrown together in a pot.
Okay, now Daryl Slaughter, he keeps putting this up here. And the reason I haven't asked him answered this because it's obvious they do.
You get tired of saying 18 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy. You worn out on that one.
I am a white all of a sudden, I Asian all of a sudden. This is one of the stupidest questions, man. They say there's no such thing as a stupid question. Yeah, this is stupid because we've been going over this for years. That's since I've been online. The question should be, do older black men like Filipinas?
No. Do Filipinas like older black men?
Yeah,
he's saying the question should be reversed.
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty clear that older black men like Filipinas, and why shouldn't they?
Yeah,
And that's what
because
he's saying. That's all that really matters in the equation. Do you like Filipinas? Yes. All right, you'll figure it out.
yeah,
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 You'll figure it
they're
out.
gonna
Everyone will figure it out. Unless you
they're
are
gonna figure that one
absolutely
out. Remember, you
there's a
know,
there's a minority. There's like 1% of y'all that just like the joke goes over the space where the joke would usually go over your head. So it's like up here. And some of y'all end up like spending $30,000 and having to get sent back by like the embassy. But the overwhelming majority, the vast lion's share of folks, you'll figure it out. I promise. You will.
he says Harold Till says you can be in a wheelchair with one eye and two toes. There's a Filipino that's okay with it. Yeah, see, it's a different dynamic. The video I made, 18 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy. There's gonna be somebody over here to love you. And that's just how it is. That's what we were talking about earlier, but these guys seem to think they're special. They're with you. It doesn't matter if you there's a man on YouTube, he's paralyzed from the neck down. He's got an attractive looking Filipino wife. And they're happy, John. What do you think about that? She's happy, I know.
I think, as I discussed with you, that it's all hormonal surges that get created. I think that there's a chance that people are confusing love with gratitude and feeling lucky. Lucky seems to be a word they use a lot, and I think that is a mutually exploitive relationship where women are exploiting vulnerable old simps for the money, and the old simps are exploiting the province girls or the poorer girls for attention, for sex, for validation, for whatever. So I don't see how you can possibly win in a mutually exploitive relationship. It's what I told you. It's dependency and codependency.
Well, these guys obviously haven't been over here. Al Rogan said that's not true. Swade Houston said that's a lie. This guy says that's not true. It is true. It is true, man. That you got to come over here and you'll see it enough to where you'll say it's true.
Well, those are all from 6 minutes ago. So those are all talking about what we're talking about there. We're talking about Asians dating blacks, is what they're referring to
I
with
see.
regards to those. That is not true.
Yeah, because I was getting ready to say, that he said if you got a pulse, there's a Filipino for you. Yeah. Uncle Jesse. I see where what's the girl that half black, half Filipino? What's her name in Dumagetti? I see where she's got a boyfriend now. I think she's 18 and he looks to be in his 60s.
Yeah.
It
Random
doesn't.
aside,
You see a lot of that in Dumagetti.
did you see old girl, half black, half Filipina striker for the Filipina team that scored their
Is that
yeah,
the
she's
picture
from the
you sent me?
yeah, she's from the Bay Area. No, that was their goalie. That's everybody on that team looks white as hell except for her and one girl with
Yeah.
a super Filipino name, number 20. I forget her name, but it's
Hmm.
alliterative and it's hella Filipino.
Yeah.
But yeah, old girl is nice. She's it's like I forget what the racial makeup is, but she's been playing over. She played for like a Bay Area team last year, but they called her up finally, and this is their first World Cup, and they are using all that foreigner blood. Is some of y'all's kids might be on the Filipina national women's team. And if so, you're doing fantastic work, y'all.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, he said mutual exploitation. That's what I like. Well, I think that's basically what it is. But see, when you talk common sense, people don't want to hear that. They'll say, "Oh, I love her and she loves me. We're not exploiting anybody." I don't know, man.
Okay.
I don't see anything wrong with it. But like I said, but you have to live in reality. I mean, it's just the bottom line, man. I don't think these women are really, like I said, the young black Filipino, because Old Dog New Tricks, the first time I saw the lady, Baby May interviewed her. And I was like, wow, she's nice looking, but she was 18. The next thing you know, she had her own channel. Then next thing you know, she's with a guy. That now they're doing live streams together. He looks to be in his either late 50s or early 60s. And she's
You talking about
18.
Old Dog?
Who?
Are you talking about Old Dog?
No. Old Dog's
Oh,
girlfriend interviewed her.
Okay.
She was 18 years old. Her name is, I don't know her name, but if you've been watching YouTube, it's a black, half Filipino. She's attractive. Then she got her own channel. Now she's with a guy. I guess he's in his late 50s, early 60s. She's no more than 18 or 19. But you see that kind of stuff in Dumaguete a lot, but it doesn't bother me. But I know what that's all about, guys. You know, we can't be in denial about that. I mean, it's been going on too long for you to think that there's something unique about your situation. And even if it is, it doesn't make all the other ones correct.
Alex says her name is Jinolin.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really actually follow a lot of Filipino YouTube outside of you and like occasionally Pumpkin Joe, and then Super Duper occasionally. Those two cats that live across from you, Roger and.
Okay, Jenna Lynn. Yeah, that's her name. Okay, that. Yeah. Yeah.
Roger and Esme. That's what it was.
Big Fox said this is a terrific segment in your discussion because you are disclosing some of the red flags no one else wants to say. Well, because if you're a vlogger, see, we're a vlogger, you know, you really have to talk about certain topics. You can't, you can ignore them because remember, at the end of the day, it's all about views. See, my views have gone down because I don't talk about that sugary stuff anymore. If I wanted my views to go up, all I got to do is talk about it. And my views go back up. So that's why they don't talk about it. I'm trying to help people if I can. But it's hard. It's getting harder and harder to help people because they want to listen to the sugary channels. They want to say, all these women love me for who I am. Okay. If that's what you want to believe. So, you know, they want you to say how easy it is to come over and get a woman and they really love you and the Filipinas the best woman in the world and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. And if you don't say that, they're not going to click on your channel. So I don't say it.
Hey, Calvin, when you were in the Navy, did you get coached by any of your shipmates on what you could look forward to when you hit the PI? I had some close brothers that I was flying out of Seal Beach, and I was going on a mission that required me to go through the Philippines, and they taught me a lot before I hit the deck in Subic City. Did you have that experience in the Navy? Or did you walk out on McSisei Street and see, I love you, no shit by me, drink 100 million times?
Well, I never went to the Philippines when I was in the Navy, but we went to Brazil and Colombia and any place where people had already been before. Yeah, you know, they give you that. They give you that talk. Yep. Even the ship would give you the talk.
Yeah.
You see how well that worked? It didn't work at all.
Yeah. Well, you know, go ahead, John.
As you can tell by Jinolin, it didn't work.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here, I guess. We're giving our shipmates the talk, and it's up to them on whether or not they're going to listen to any of it or they're going to be like Simp John that was here and got ripped off by the same chick twice. That's his problem. It's not her problem. It's his problem.
Well, we need to remember, folks, what are we dealing with? The Philippines. It's an archipelago. Okay, you don't like the environment, change your location. It's a vast, vast area. It's called an archipelago. It's not like
the internet. Too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now he's saying, are there many half black and Filipino women? Yes, they are, but they mostly concentrated up there. Angeles City, Subic Bay, Olongapo, like that. where the service
Informal
men
naval bases.
Sure.
jumped everything off and kept it moving. There was a young lady here, Gail, who I tried to help. We actually found her father.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to step up and do anything about it. He's worried about child support and whatever it is. In her day, Gail was winning beauty contests over here. You know, but she's a Filipino through and through. She's, you know, she speaks the language. You know, she just wanted her birthright. Her birthright was U.S. citizenship. That's all she wanted. She's a brilliant young woman. She could make it over in America anytime. You could just put her and her kids over there right now, and she would make it. If
Did he
she
wind up denying her or ignoring her?
Huh?
Did he wind up ignoring or denying her, or were they able to develop a relationship?
Well, when we first found him, he said, well, if you do the DNA and you prove she's mine, then I'll take it from there. Well, we did the DNA, and it was 99.999 his. And then he quit corresponding with the girl. See?
Yeah, well, I can give you some feedback on that, but that's for another day.
Yeah. And see, without his cooperation, she's dead in the water. She can't force him to think. Now,
what does she want, really? I mean, what does she want? When in my practice, when people wanted to find their birth parents or a missing person or a loved one or whatever, it was never about the money, ever. It was about a connection. It was so many questions that were being answered. So was her, and a lot of times my caution to them was, listen, this may not turn out well for you. You know, that person may have a lot of guilt that he doesn't want to deal with. That person may have a family he doesn't want to know about you. It has nothing to do with you. It has a lot to do with him. So, was it for her, was she just trying to make that connection, or was there a financial incentive for her? I think it's just the connection. I saw part of that.
Yeah, it was a connection. That's what she said. She said, I just want to meet my father.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And I respect that, but high key, even though she did want to meet him just to get the her citizenship, don't inseminate somebody if you don't intend to play the follow through. There are a lot of scumbags already littering the Philippines with illegitimate children without us dipping into the pool. So I mean, just it's I guess it's easy. It's easier to run away from that if you're the type of person that could not talk.
They've both got rights. Both of them have rights, and she has rights, and certainly maybe there's an option for her in the courts to enforce some of those rights, or with the embassy to enforce some of those rights. And he has a right to, certainly not to be a prick and run away from things, but it's a hard thing to suddenly have somebody show up in your life that's an adult that you don't have, that's a child of yours. That's a hard thing to grasp. And if you're a moral person, you're spending some time thinking about that, trying to deal with that. And if you've got a wife and a family at home, you got to talk to them about that too. I've seen it a lot of times where the other party just doesn't want to have to deal with it. And that's a very personal issue with that poor young lady. That's, she's been rejected 1,000 times in her mind. But in reality, this guy's probably trying to cover his own emotional ass as well. And his family's emotional ass.
You're talking 30 years ago. People make mistakes. He could easily reconcile that with his wife. If he can't, then he probably needs another wife.
Sure.
He
Well,
say, hey,
30
years ago, I didn't know she just showed up. Knowing the American culture the way that I do, man. I'm an American, full-blood American. That wife probably would have embraced that. But he's making decisions, selfish decisions. You know,
Yes, that's true.
30
It's true.
years ago, come on, man. If I'm with a woman and I tell her, you know what, I get a call the other day from a girl who says she's my daughter. And by the way, we connected with 2 of his first cousins, 2 of his second cousins on Ancestry.com. Sent them pictures of Gail. They said Gail looks exactly like him. You know, and then, you know, you say, hey, she shows up, you know, I'm going to do a DNA test. If it comes back, then yeah, I'm going to help her. Now, if my wife and I'm with says, oh, no, bitch, you got to go. I'm sorry.
1,000%. Hey, never lie.
I'm sorry. So he's some kind of he's an asshole, man, is what I'm saying. He's a weak one at that.
Scumbag behavior.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. That's, you know, this poor girl has just been dealing with this for so long, and she'll always deal with it. And it's it's very, very personal to her that she has been rejected like this. Very personal.
Yeah, it is. RV. Now he's a Filipino. He said, stay away from upper northern Luzon now, the path of the May typhoons. And this is another thing, guys. When you know you're coming to the Philippines and you know where you're going, man, make sure that you check the weather, guys. And where you going, especially if you're going somewhere like in Luzon, Central Luzon, Eastern Visayas, like Lady, you know, the Tacloban Lady, Villaron, Samar. You better know what you're doing. Now, DJ Lord Buck says, a dude told me the older Filipino spends money on the American man for a date in the tourist area. Yeah, but how old? A 60-year-old? Man, what do you mean? Okay, big deal. I'm not going to, you know, what, you want a 60-year-old Filipino to buy you a lunch or dinner?
Is DJ Lord Buck different from Buck, just to clarify? This is a different dude than Buck?
What are you talking about? Older. Crazy. Yeah, it says, the U.S. citizenship is her birthright, and she deserves a shot at upward mobility for herself and her family. Absolutely. And Gail doesn't want anything from him. She says she didn't. She just wants, you know, to meet her father and, you know, become a U.S. citizen, man. You know, this woman struggled over here her whole life, made it through all that she has to deal with socially, then made it through college. Now she's got a little food business she runs. Okay. She told these Sousa says that guy's heartless. Who does their own seed like that? Obviously he does. Yeah, he's cold-hearted.
You know, and in order for her to do anything at this juncture, is that it would have to open a case in the family courts wherever he's at, in the family courts to prove paternity. And then but of course that's irrational. She's not going to travel from there to, that's just setting her up for more heartache. Sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is to understand that, you know, if your life was bad, it's about to get a whole lot worse by having this guy in it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the way I looked at it. And this guy's on this mixed race thing. Well, they're not the only ones discriminated upon over here. They got age discrimination. They got all kinds of discrimination going on over here. But remember, this is their culture. And, you know, you're not going to change it. But
also, it's very important. Oh, sorry, go on.
If you see some of the job descriptions, they're cringy over here. You couldn't get away with it in America.
Yeah. I would say it's more skin tone than race, because there are very few Filipinos that aren't mixed race. Like, most Filipinos are identified back to a direct additional race, whether that be Spanish or Han Chinese or Hakka Chinese, or in lesser conditions, Indian, or even, you know, from the Gulf states. So that's mostly a color thing. They mostly want you to be fair-skinned and attractive, and they don't care if you're mixed with
young. And
you
young.
know, yeah, exactly. And you will, yeah, obviously young. You know, they don't care if you're from if you're Italian Filipino or Venezuelan Filipino, as long as you meet the complexion for perfection. That's a concern.
Yeah.
In
But let's be
Mexico,
honest, man. That's everywhere though. Except,
in,
I mean, even in Africa, believe it or not. But a
Southeast
lot of
Asia is another level, though.
a lot of countries in Africa banned that though. They said, no, we're not gonna put these, the whiter the skin type of people up here. We want something that's gonna reflect more of the population. But it's all around the world, man. They call it's white supremacy. That's not a knock against white people. That's what they call it. Even white people
Maybe it
from
should
white
be.
supremacy.
I was shocked. In Mexico, I had the radio turned up and they're advertising for a job at Walmart or Sam's Club. Don't apply if you're over 40 years old. And that, I was like shocked, man.
Well, what about the greeters? So they got young greeters now, huh? Over there.
If you're over 40 years old in Mexico, need not apply. That was the announcement.
Well, at least they give you 10 years there, because here's 30. You need not apply. It's
30 years old.
30.
I had a girl told me she was 47 years old, and she told me she was over the age limit for getting hired any place, and I was skeptical about that.
Yeah. And
Well,
the same thing with disability. They're getting better because a lot of the senators and stuff, they've been pushing back and saying, hey, we need to put some legislation in there to get more disabled people hard, older people hard, because if you're disabled over here, you're shit out of luck, basically. Your retirement plan is a cup, and they set you out on the damn street. I hate to say it, but
that's a pretty common one.
I'm not going to change it, and nothing we say about is going to change it.
Age discrimination is pretty widespread over there.
Discriminated against, man. There's a way.
It's almost cultural, though. Like,
here they're just not going to tell you over here.
No, yeah, easy.
Right, they're going to read your name. They're supposed to be taking that race box off the damn application. How's that working out over there? Well,
fortunately down here, there's plenty of jobs. If you want to work, you'll have a job. It won't be a high-paying job. Maybe you'll have to work 2 jobs. But even the older gals, they set up tamale places. They set up taco places. They're all over the place. They work. Thank goodness there's not, a lot of wealth that comes from that, but they have an opportunity to be entrepreneurial and kind of make their own way.
Yeah. And see, we'll talk about this stuff, but we got to realize we come from a country that practiced this stuff for centuries. Okay? And it's still being practiced just subtly and like under the radar.
Yeah.
Jim Crow and all that, man. We wrote the book on discrimination over in America. People are just learning from us. Hell, Hitler came over to America to learn. The people from South Africa came over to America to learn how to keep black people in check. We come from a country that wrote the book on that stuff. Now all of a sudden we're trying to wash our hands and say, oh, we're these angels all of a sudden.
Well, there's also a socioeconomic necessity for it in countries like the Philippines.
Better buy your own damn ice cream.
Like, if you already have a high population of people that don't have jobs, you can't have you can't continue to have a high population of people that want to be educated if there are 80 people looking for a job and you end up going senior. People kind of make programs to push folks at or near retirement age or at those ages out in favor of not creating a giant backlog at the entry level for these new grads or folks, because those are the folks that'll end up leaving and going and finding new jobs, driving up the average age of the population and leaving a bunch of senior citizens without healthcare and all that good stuff. So, there are levers for it. But yeah, like Cal was saying, a lot of that stuff is cultural. Like even in Japan, they have a saying about Christmas cake, where if you're a single woman over the age of 26, they refer to you as Christmas cake because traditionally in Japan, nobody wants Christmas cake after the 25th. So it's not like it's just, it's pretty widespread in Asia. I feel like the colorism and the age discrimination are both definitely there, and somehow manage to live side by side with like the culture of elder veneration and
Is it
respecting your elders and all that good
is
stuff.
it possible that culturally across cultures that women have less value than men, so that older men are actually still working in the workplace, whereas women who don't really culturally bring the same value to the family culturally as men do. So are the older men working? Or
It's not that complicated. It's really just it's the same thing it's been for 1,000+ years. Younger women are more virile and more fertile, so there's a cultural preference towards them.
in the job market? In the job market,
It's more attractive. Sex sells. The same reason that you almost never see, at least on international flights, a flight attendant on an Asian carrier under the age of 35. You might have some senior, if you're sitting up in the front end like me, you might see some of those older folks because they're gonna be your like international bursars or your tenured first class bursars. But your average, your average Korean Air, Emirates, Asiana, Cathay, ANA employee, like they fit a certain age, certain frame, certain literal physical profile. I know a girl that used to was very attractive and only made it to gate agent, or like doing the counter, handling your tickets and stuff at the counter for PAL, because she didn't meet the high weight ratio requirements. Super hot, very attractive, super smart person, funny to be around, or fun and all that, but she wasn't perfect, and because of that, she had to go find another job. I mean, she's married, she has a husband, kid, she's very happy and all that, but that just goes to show you, like, sometimes even great isn't good enough here because, again, there's such a large population. You gotta understand, every school year, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of Filipino college students come out. And a lot of them want into these roles that have very specific quantities. They want to be engineers, they want to be lawyers, they want to be doctors, they want to go to a post-grad program, they want to be flight attendants or nurses. And you can only fit so many people into those slots. So you've got to you can get pretty much as discriminatory as you want in the Philippines, because you have such a massive hiring pool. You have a colossal hiring pool, so much so that other international airlines recruit out of the Philippines as well.
Brian Eating Warrior says, only discrimination I'm for is for flight attendants. Delta and American Airlines can learn a few things from the smoke shows that are hard for foreign airlines. That's what you just said, TJ. Yeah, on Delta especially, they're old, man.
I fly United, and let me tell you, it's definitely not for the aesthetics. It's they have a fantastic elite program, and that's about where it ends. They fly out SFO a bunch too. That's all.
Yeah, King Arthur, thanks for that super chat. He said, take off the race box in the application and put in sex, male, female, or other. Well, hell, they got sexism too going on. I think that men, as bad as we think that men have it in America, it's only going to get worse as the women wrest control in the higher echelons of society. They're not going to remember. They're not going to forget the centuries of discrimination and all of that. Women are that way, man. Men and women are equal, but we're not the same, man. Women would practice that nepotism and all that and won't give a damn. I think that as men fall further and further behind over there and women start rising above, because even though women are outperforming us on all levels just about, men are still in control over that. But once that part is complete, you're going to see some crazy stuff going on, man. I would hate to go before a female judge, man. I saw it a long time ago I saw it when I was going through my divorce. Imagine I had the child support judge, the divorce judge, and was the same damn woman. And she slapped me really, really good, man. I mean, she gave it to me like I was Osama bin Laden or somebody. I don't even have a police record.
Well, conversely, when she was in practice, she may be the one you went behind you standing up to the judge. Yeah, they're bulldogs, man. A lot of them are bulldogs. They got a chip. They got something they have to prove.
That's right. But we don't believe it. So what they got us fighting against each other because, women, they organize a lot better than us. They do a whole lot more things better than us when it comes to, like we was talking the other day on my live stream. Women wear each other's clothes. And, that's not going to happen with a man. They do a lot of more sisterly type things that we don't do. We're trying to be lone wolves, man. These women, man, they coming. Like you said, women be scary. All you got to do is think back on some of the relationships you had and how they came at you hard. I wouldn't do some of the stuff that my ex-wife, my American wife, did to me. I wouldn't have the heart to do it.
Well, I mean, that kind of begs the question, are men nicer than women? Generically, are we nicer than women are?
I believe we've been trained to be nicer, because we're the protectors of women. They've given us that role. So, and then of course.
Are we talking about on the micro level or the macro level? Because generally speaking, there were very few to no women involved in the Cold War, the development of the Tsar Bomba, Fat Man, Little Boy, ICBMs. Like, I think if we're talking about kill count, we're less nice for sure. We're out here racking up bodies left and right, comparatively speaking. On the micro, I guess it becomes more of a question of where you consider that. What you consider that standard to be.
Let me share an experience with you for you to think about. And part of my private investigative practice, I did a lot of financial stuff. People would come to me to find assets. Does he have a bank account? How much money's in it? Houses, automobiles, things like that. And of all the years that I did this in the matrimonial arena, it was exclusively women that came to me to find hidden bank accounts from an errant husband. A man never came to me to find hidden bank accounts that women might be hiding. I'm not sure what that suggests to me, except, on the surface, it might seem that women are, money means a whole lot to them. On the surface, it may seem that men are more predisposed towards, being dastardly people. What does it say to you? And how does this apply to the dating pool, where women, at the end of the day, at the end of the marriage, they're the ones that are keenly interested in how much money's out there and where's it being hidden?
Yeah. Now, as far as the body count, that's because society created it that way. They won't let women go and fight wars and all of that. And then we're trained to kill. We're not just the killing that's going on in them wars. The military guys, man, that's not a normal, ordinary killing, man.
I'm just talking even military on civilian atrocities. Are we talking the bombing of Dresden, the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the rape of Nanking? Again, these are not things that women are out here declaring. Like, I think that a lot of that is because historically we live in a patriarchy. Women haven't had the ability or the power to call or do that. But so far, all we've seen is, we haven't seen too many women declare war. Not to say that it hasn't happened, but predominantly in ancient times.
He says men destroy physically, women destroy socially, psychologically, and economically. there's not a man that I know that hasn't been broke down by a woman. If you haven't, then you're lying. We know their potential for violence, man. Even though they may not have and revenge and all that other stuff, man. Even though it may not be showing up in the books. Then he says, I tell you, the wife left the court and smiled. What's he saying? What's he talking about?
The courts lean heavily towards the woman or the mother in family courts.
Oh, absolutely.
He said he got divorced and got custody of his child. The judge awarded him $5 a month for child support. And when his wife walked out of court, she gave him a smile. Hey, that's cool. We take a lot of L's in the divorce court. Some of y'all are actually scumbags though, so it's hard for me to really take a land on it. Sometimes I'll feel for a dude and I'll hear his story. At the end, I'll be like, "Wow, you're a real piece of shit, huh, buddy?" Like so. But I think a lot of time it's so hard to find those guys because the court system here leans in the other direction so heavy that it's very believable that a dude just gets worked over versus being an asshole. Like it's a lot of dudes just run into it. I feel like the scumbags are probably few and far between, but they're very vocal and it makes it very hard to argue for the rest of the dudes that are getting worked by the child support system.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm gonna have to get off here. We got 4 minutes. I want to thank everybody, especially my guests. I want to thank everybody for your super chats, your super stickers, all your thumbs up, all your support of Sunshine Shoulders. I'm gonna give it the last say to my panel. I'm gonna start with you, Robert Dame, up there in the ZPD zone. Hit us with something before we leave.
Okay, first of all, lastly, but not, I want to thank the Filipinas. You've got a segment of Filipinas that come here. We know they're fast learners. They come in here and welcome to the manosphere. Ladies, welcome to the manosphere. They come here. Why do they come here? Try to learn a little bit of English. They stay in the background, but they're there. I want to give them a tribute and say thank you, ladies, for trying to understand us.
Where'd you get that fancy tie, man? What's the occasion, man? You got that shirt and tie going today.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I lost my teeth, and the teeth are your gate to your tongue, so I've just been letting it fly.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael, for that super chat. He says 1 in 1,000 women. 1 in 1,000 women. Can a man for a good woman? What is he saying? Only God can see you.
Hey, I'm looking at it just like you.
I don't know. I don't know.
1 in 1,000 women can. What do you think? Maybe 1 in 1,000 women can be a wife for a good man. I don't know, dog. Michael, you want to give it another go? We'll read it out. If you could type it again real fast. Yeah, because
John, give us something to chew on later on today.
Practice your no kung fu every day at any opportunity that comes up. No kung fu.
Yeah. Give us something, TJ. He said use the no kung fu. But see, that way, if we say no all the time, then they're gonna start saying no, John.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. He said 1 in 1,000 can find a good woman. Maybe his phone is messing up like mine and typing what it wants to type out there, TJ. He said 1 in 1,000 can find a good woman. Yeah.
Only God can send you a wife.
But hell, God is the one choosing these wives.
I hope you ain't Muslim, homie.
Damn pick away, John. Because 70% of all new marriages are ended in divorce.
Yeah, you said God. The Lord got questionable jump shot in that territory. Yeah, Yeah. What is baby? Are you still here? No. If your girl can't cook, get a housekeeper, dog. Like,
Absolutely.
don't even set yourself up for the argument. If you got a good one and she's supportive, she's cute, she got a good personality, good head on her shoulders, she ain't trying to shake you down for nothing all the time. If she
Don't
can't
forget
cook,
about
just get a
that.
housekeeper. And that kind of stretches anything. If there's like if you're in a situation where everything's good, but just this one thing, go fix the one thing, homie. It's not that serious. The other thing I was gonna say, um, spend whatever you want out here, but budget enough that you'll be able to laugh about it afterwards. Like if you're on a wild out, you want to spend 30 racks out here, that's dope. Just make sure that you have 30 racks that you can spend and not go home and be pressed. Because if I'm donating to your GoFundMe, the last thing I want to do is see your balling out video. You're out on Angelis trying to go to all the clubs in alphabetical order and see how many, 1,000 peso notes you could throw in the air. Like, I don't really want to help you no more. So, just go nuts out there, have fun, live your best life. But within
Yeah,
reason, we don't want to clean up after you. We will. You don't want
I
to.
think that's a good advice. Don't take yourself
Thank
too
you,
seriously
TJ.
over here either, guys. Just have fun.
Thank you,
Remember, most
John.
of us are in the fourth quarter of our lives. But at the same time, if I'm going to give a piece of advice, I'm going to say, come over here and build the life around yourself first. Remember, self-preservation, guys. That's nature because they're doing it over here. There's so many stories where the man sends all his money, then he tries to get some of it back, and the woman says, no, who's going to take care of me and my kids? They practice it, but we don't. So come over here, build the life that you want around you, and then the woman is going to come there. You can put her in there. She'll fit in anywhere like that. It's like TJ was saying. What woman doesn't want to come along for that ride? If I'm staying in $400 and $600 a night hotels in the Philippines, by the way, what woman doesn't gonna want that? But yeah,
I just want to say, if you want a TikTok video, you're in the wrong place because this is the real life show, man. This is the real. This ain't no TikTok.
yeah.
Well,
I'm
it's
gonna
mostly
ask you
because I
this
don't have a
last question
TikTok.
from Daryl. He says he collects 2,000 per month. But is this? This is for anybody out there. I don't care what you're collecting. How much is of that 2,000 is a net? Because you got bills in America. What's your net per month in Social
Yeah,
Security?
they're all bundled up, Calvin.
Yeah,
They're all bundled up. They got the
that's
bundled
right.
up insurance. They got the bundled up house payment with the bundled up life insurance with the bundled up everything. They're all bundled up.
Yo,
Yeah,
my thoughts on that is just if you're going to come out here, it's perfectly fine to just live, I don't know, within your means, I guess. Like there's nothing
yeah,
wrong
but
with that. But just know what those means are. Like take a note of the things you're spending on in the States and write those all down and add a bit more in for fun. And then go figure out what those things cost in the Philippines. If that's more than that $2,000, then no, that's not enough. If it's less than $2,000, then yeah. And just try to aim under that. It's the same as you're building a budget and you're balancing it the same as anywhere else you would in the world. You just got to make yourself a bit more cognizant of the cost because if you're not in the Philippines, it's a lot harder for you to actually figure out what those comparatives are. So go try it. Go over there if you can afford to give the Philippines a 1 month trial, a 2 to 4 week trial at the very least. Go see what your spending looks like over there. Once you get if you're locked into coming down, you'd be fine. If you're gonna be there for several months, give it a month to get all that wildness out of your system. That month, 2 or 3 is probably what your budget looks like.
yeah. Remember, if you're 2-star over there, be 2-star over here, guys. That's as simple as I can tell it. The $1,000 that you got in your hand in America is going to be the same $1,000 that you bring to the Philippines because your spending habits haven't changed. You're not going to
Yeah.
do anything any different when you first get here. So If you're 3-star, if you're 4-star over there, then be 4-star over here if you want.
Like, I just want to add this to that. Like, the Philippines, $2,000 a month in the Philippines could be 3 months of your apartment paid with your electricity, 3 months of groceries, and your basics taken care of. It can also be 1 month in an apartment, SNR, and a nice pair of sneakers. Like, it really just depends on how you as a person spend. Figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it just
And
depends.
figure out if she has any prior commitments. If you haven't been with her long enough to know what her responsibilities are, because her responsibilities are yours when you hook up.
All right, kids. I'm heading out. Buenos noches. Vaya con Dios.
Igualmente, señor. Que te vaya bien.
Oh, before we get out of here, when's the next meetup?
Real nitty-gritty. Boots on the ground. It's the real nitty-gritty. Boots on the ground.
Hey, take care, everybody. Help
Yep,
somebody today.
Next meetup?
I'll see you next month. I'll see you next month, TJ.
Fair enough. Catch you.